Hi again, all plane spotters and aircraft lovers, and welcome back to Copenhagen Kastrup. It's very windy out here today, and it's about -2 degrees. Today I thought we could take a look at some of the best spotting locations around the airport. I put together this little map to give you a good overview of all the runways, roads, and the spotting locations. These blue numbers here will actually be clickable links later, so you can click on them and get more information about that particular spotting location. Or you can just sit back, relax, and we'll go through them all. I'll just try to get some good shots of this Air Canada flight first, and then we'll be on our way. Well, that worked out pretty good. Now let's just get everything back into the car and we'll start this plane spotting guide. Spotting location number 1. I actually haven't been to this spot for many years now, but it's fairly good to get shots of overflying aircraft into runway 04 left. However, due to the lack of a parking space, I would probably call it the worst of the best. If you'd like to get here, you'd probably need someone to drop you off. And here we are. Since there's no place to park our car around here, I'm just gonna drive right past it. I actually see that they've taken down a lot of trees here. Maybe this is a better spotting location now than it used to be. As you can see in these old shots from 2011, there are a couple of trees here blocking the view of the runway. But apparently they've taken those down now. As you can see, we can't really see the runway there. But if we get a little more up this way, I mean, here you can actually see a little bit better. It's just really hard to find a parking spot, that's the only problem. If you want to see how to get here, you can watch the entire drive by clicking the link up here to the right. Otherwise, we'll just go on to the next spot. Spotting location number 2. This spot is without a doubt among the best spotting locations around the airport. You can divide it into 3 spots. 2A, just by the touchdown zone of runway 04 left. It's perfect for getting nice rotation shots on 22 right, and close-up touchdowns on 04 left. However, it's important to note that some planes tend to fly past this spot and touch down a bit further down the runway. That's why I usually go for the next spot to film landings, 2B. This might actually be an even better spot to get touchdowns on runway 04 left. Let's cut the music here and listen to these beautiful engines. Just beautiful. And then we have the next spot, 2C, just by the road and on the field. It's also a pretty good spot for both takeoffs and landings, especially if you're not able to film through the fence. I usually park all the way down here, even though it's possible to park further down the road. The farmer isn't too happy with us plane spotters when we get in the way. If you want to see how to get here, you can press the link up here to the right. If not, we'll just continue on to the next spot. Spotting location number 3. This is a really good spot to get nice taxi and lineup shots on runway 04 right. You can divide it into 2 spots. 3A, just by the in-flight zone of runway 04 right. A great spot to get lineup shots from behind the planes. And then there's 3B, just by the threshold, an amazing spot to get really close to the planes. It's probably my favorite spot at the airport actually. Now let's cut the music again and listen to these beautiful engines. And here we are. Lots of spaces to park the car. You can park it over here, you can park it over there. 3B is less than 100 meters down that way, and 3A is probably 100 meters, 200 meters further down. If you want to see how to get here, you can click the link up here to the right. If not, we'll just continue on to the next spot. Spotting location number 4. This is a fairly good spot to get shots of planes taxiing to runway 04 right, but it's really great for landings on runway 04 left. However, I have to mention that you have to walk quite a bit to get here, but it's often worth it. And here we are. We're now approaching the spot. It's pretty much on both sides of the road here. On this side to our right you can get very good shots of the landings, and there to the left you can get you can get fairly good shots of taxi and the takeoffs. But since there's no place to park, I'm going to continue on a little bit more. Unfortunately, the lack of a parking spot isn't the only issue here. The busy road beside you makes for a really noisy environment sometimes. And unfortunately, the sun gets right in front of you pretty early in the afternoon. But other than that, it's a great spot. And this is the closest parking area that I've found. I've parked here a couple of times and I haven't had any problem. You can see the spot is about a kilometer down that way, just along the road. If you want to see how I got here, you can click on the link here up to the right, or we just continue on to the next spot. Spotting location number 5, otherwise known as Flyvergrillen. It's a small restaurant with a viewing platform where you have a pretty good overview over the runways. You can get fairly good takeoff shots on runway 22 right and taxi to and takeoff shots on runway 04 right here. You're also able to get rollout shots from landings on runway 22 left and runway 04 left. You can find all their opening hours on their website. And here we are. Flyvergrillen is just by that door you see there. It's closed at the moment, so there's no problem finding a place to park. That may vary in the summer actually, but mostly there's no problem. I actually have to say that this isn't really the best spot if you're filming, mostly because there's often people around you and children running around and screaming. But if you're just out to take pictures or to see the airplane, it's pretty good. If you want to see the entire drive here, you can click the link up here to the right. Otherwise, we'll just continue on to the next spot. Spotting location number 6. This is really the place to go to if you're visiting the airport for the first time. It's perfect for getting close-up landing shots on runway 22 left. Just make sure that the wind is out of the north or the east and you can be sure to have a good time. This was by far the best spotting locations around the airport, but unfortunately they've done things to make spotting more difficult for us. This year they've added this extra barrier so you can't get close enough to the fence. But luckily for me, my camera was able to shoot through it anyway. And here we are. Unfortunately, the only available parking spots over here is the airport parking, so they're very expensive. If you're lucky, you can get away with $15 at P15 or P17, but they're often full, like today. And then you have to park by the airport, and that will cost you at least $30. You can then take a free shuttle bus over to P15 and P17, but once you're out here, it's great. You can divide this spot into two. 6A, which is on this little hill just beside P15. It's a great spot, especially if you can't shoot through the fence. Unfortunately, you're shooting towards the sun most of the day, but if you take that to your advantage, you can get some pretty nice shots. And then there's 6B, which is all along this road. Here we have a great unobstructed view of runway 22 left. It's in every way ideal for getting overflight and touchdown shots. Please feel free to click on any of these blue links to rewatch any spot that you like. Otherwise, we'll just continue on to my finishing vlog, and of course, the Guess Aircraft Sound competition. And that's about it. Thanks for watching a Planespotters guide to Copenhagen Kastrup, or Copenhagen Airport, or whatever it's called today. I really hope this was somewhat helpful if you'd like to visit the airport sometime in the future. Now, this is the part where I'd like to answer some of your questions, but unfortunately I'm a little short on time today, so please leave me all your questions down below, and I'll be sure to answer some of them at the end of my next video. Thank you very much for watching, and good luck with the sound guessing! Ooh, it's cold. But I'm done. Now we're just gonna edit. And edit and edit and edit. Hopefully I'm done within 48 hours. 48 hours. That was it for today.